Hi, welcome to our webinar series. We are thrilled to have you here. Our webinars will be insightful, informative, and of course, exciting. We have a diverse lineup of topics, speakers, and content that will bring you information in terms of business education. What we are going to talk about are the most pressing issues affecting the MBA, Masters in Business Administration, and Business Education for the future of our responsible leaders and learners. So get ready to gain knowledge and leave with actionable tips that you can implement starting from today. Before we start our webinar, let us have a short prayer.
Let us bow our heads and put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering all of us today. May you bestow your guidance and blessings so that we can enjoy and appreciate its significance in our lives. Bless everyone who are present here today, that each one of us may be able to share our knowledge, understanding, and wisdom for your glory and honor. May the various activities related to this event be a success through your intervention. We all ask of this in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
And of course, the national anthem of the Philippines.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, kaya sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyagan ang magiting, sa mandulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagatak tutok sa simoy at sa langit ng pagkaw, ay hinatang tudla, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal, ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na naghihinig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidinig, luman ang araw ng walang pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo, ang hindi kaya ng pagkay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
And finally, we are now going to start the webinar. Let us all hear the first trend that impacts the business education presented by Mr. Vizcara and Ms. Villas.
Climate change has been more important at international forums since turn of the century. Yet the most recent effects of climate change and global warming have increased the need of businesses to adopt more ecologically friendly practices. Environmental groups have demanded that business be held accountable for their carbon footprints. This tendency has forced business schools to introduce green environmental practices and discover ways for companies to run their operations in accordance with global environmental laws and regulations. Climate change is now a fact of political life and is playing a growing role in a business competition. Greenhouse gas emission will increasingly scrutinized, regulated, and priced, while individual managers can disagree about how immediate and significant the impact of climate change will be. Companies need to take an action now. The risks around climate change are complex and interconnected. For instance, global warming affects biodiversity and ecosystems with consequence for food, fuel, or water supply, while its effect the economic inequality could provoke international or local conflict and damage social or state cohesion. Business could be affected by physical risks from extreme weather events such as flooding, storms, or wildfires, or from longer-term climate shifts that cause higher temperatures and rise in sea levels. Climate change is important, urgent issue. Business is usual is projected to increase global warming. Regulatory bodies are starting to demand accountability for carbon emissions. Customers are seeking to reduce their own footprints by working with low carbon suppliers, while future workers and talent are likely to favor employers with demonstrable social and environmental values. Companies that persist in treating climate change is solely as corporate social responsibility issue rather than as business problem will risk the greatest consequences. Of course, a company climate policies will be affected by stakeholders' expectations and standards for social responsibility. But the effect of climate change of companies' operations are now so tangible and certain that this issue is best addressed within tools or strategies na philanthropies.
The climate crisis will force business schools to adapt curriculum. Climate conscious, environmentally friendly, sustainable, and socially responsible. In line with being environmentally conscious, we recognize the term conscious refers to a business that is aware of the impact it has on its surroundings environment. So when we refer to climate conscious, we are acknowledging the changing climate, its impact on us and our impact on it, and we are taking steps to reduce our impact. Climate change is one of the most important issues of our time, and business has been a major contributor to it. But we also need business to develop new technologies and business models to confront this crisis. Business schools must do much more to raise awareness of climate change in the business community and to show how business and management can address the challenges climate change presents. Climate crisis is here, and it is forcing us all to take action. This is particularly true in the world of business education, where business schools needs to rapidly adjust their curriculums to reflect the reality of rapidly evolving environment. Business schools will educate students on how to protect earth environment. Environmental education is a multidisciplinary approach to learning about environmental issues that enhances knowledge, builds critical thinking skills, and helps students make informed and responsible decisions. It helps people understand and address the impact of the climate crisis, empowering them with the knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes needed to act as agents of change. In response to the increasingly urgent warnings from environmental experts about the effects of climate change, business schools will be forced to reconsider the context of their curriculum in the upcoming years. Climate crisis discussions are being incorporated in classrooms and textbooks in order to inform the future business leaders and entrepreneurs about their ethical responsibilities to reduce their company's carbon footprint. This means more business decisions will factor in potential environmental consequences of proposed initiatives. Curriculum changes are being considered to prepare business leaders and entrepreneurs with the skills they will need to combat the changing landscape of warming planet. Companies in sectors such as energy, technology, and infrastructure may need to invest in different and often novel strategies in order to remain profitable or at least resilient. In this vein, forward-thinking business schools are creating classes focused on teaching climate crisis risk management and adaptation, sustainable development and financial engineering models, renewable energy, climate science, data-driven decision-making, carbon offset projects, and strategies for employee and investor engagement in sustainability efforts will all be necessary tools for business leaders and entrepreneurs to learn and understand if they wish to combat climate change. These classes, of course, may replace traditional business and economic classes as priorities begin to shift. It is becoming increasingly clear that the business world will have to change to face the realities of the climate crisis. And with that, business schools must change their curriculum. Doing so will ensure that our future business leaders have the information and skills necessary to successfully navigate the waters of increasingly expansive world while still working towards sustainability. And that's all for my topic. Thank you.
And that concludes our webinar. We all thank you for attending and staying until the end of our session entitled Trend That Impacts the Business Education. We all hope that you gain, absorb, and make use of the knowledge we all have shared. That's all. Thank you. God bless. Thank you for that. Now let us proceed to the next speakers, Ms. Praxides and Mr. Aquino.
Hi, good morning everyone. I am Christopher Joey Aquino
And I am Mary Rose P. Praxides.
and we will discuss to you the second trend that impacting the business school. Our topic is alternative providers will push business schools to reimagine their value proposition, presented by Professor Greg Whitwell. First of all, who is Greg Whitwell? Greg Whitwell is Professor Emeritus at the where he served as Dean of the Business School, Dean of University of Sydney Business School, or also known USBS, from June 2014 to December 2022. He is board director in Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business, or also known AACSB, is synonymous with the highest standards of excellence in business or management education, and also a global non-profit association. And he is the first person to chair CEMS from a non-European school.
Now let's explain what is our subtopic is all about. But first, we need to break down some words from our subtopic. First, what is alternative providers? Alternative providers is private training establishments or an institution that is approved by qualifications authority. I can say that Bsba is one of the alternative provider as it offers short vocational courses. Next is, what is value proposition? A value proposition is a short statement that communicates why buyers should choose your services or products. In our subtopic, it means that why students or young professionals should choose business schools rather than alternative providers. Now let's expand our subtopic. How does alternative providers push business schools reimagine their value proposition? As alternative providers increase, business schools have been threatened. So they reinvented programs, pioneered pedagogies, invested enabling technologies, built value-creating collaboration, and developed new markets.
In the history of business education, but it's hardly the end of business schools. But it is the rebirth of business schools. Fundamental to that rebirth will be a shift in business education to a much greater emphasis on interdisciplinarity. Interdisciplinarity by embracing of this, for example, the insight of fields including the humanities, like political science, natural sciences, engineering, design, and so on. The only disadvantage is the business school have been threatened with declining enrollees due to the rise of alternative providers. On the other hand, business schools now have opportunity to keep up with modern technology.
Most of us would agree that we are now in the digital world, but really, what is that? And what is the impact of digital world in business education?
Hi, good morning everyone. I'm Vincent James Nanyo and I'm here to discuss the topic of the digital world. The first thing that comes up to our mind when we say digital is the word technology. It also refers to the interconnected network of digital devices, software, and communication technologies that have transformed the way we access information, communicate, and conduct business in the modern era. This digital world has a significant impact on many aspects of society. As a result, it has prompted a re-evaluation of various aspects of life, including number one, communication. The digital world has made communication faster, easier, and more accessible. This has led to a re-evaluation of how we communicate with each other and how we build and maintain relationships. For example, email, instant messaging, social media, and video conferencing have made it easier to communicate with people all over the world. However, online communication has also raised questions about the quality of communication. Some argue that online communication lacks the depth and nuance of face-to-face communication. Second one, number two, work. The digital world has enabled remote work, freelancing, and flexible work arrangements. This created a re-evaluation of traditional work structures, including the 9-to-5 office-based work model. For example, people can work from home or from anywhere with an internet connection, and they can take on freelance work through platforms like Upwork and Fiverr. Despite that, this has also raised questions about job security, benefits, and the changing nature of work. And number three, learning. The digital world has provided unprecedented access to educational resources and opportunities, causing a re-evaluation of traditional educational models and the role of technology in education, specifically online learning. Online learning platforms like Google Meet and MS Teams. Digital textbooks and educational resources are also widely available. However, this has also raised questions about the quality of online education and whether it can replace the value of in-person teaching and learning. Number 4. Information access. The digital world has also changed the way people access information. Rather than relying on traditional media sources like newspapers and television, people can now access information on demand through online platforms such as search engines, social media, and news websites. On the other hand, the abundance of information available online has also raised concerns about the quality and reliability of the information. With so much information available, it can be challenging to determine what sources are trustworthy and accurate. Additionally, the spread of misinformation and fake news has become a significant concern, leading to a re-evaluation of the role of media literacy and critical thinking in the digital age. Lastly, number 5, privacy. The digital world has made it easier to share information and connect with others, but it has also raised concerns about privacy and data security. With so much personal information available online, people are more aware of the need to protect their privacy, resulted in increased use of privacy tools like VPNs, ad blockers, and encrypted messaging apps. Overall, The digital world has caused significant evaluation across various domains, and its impact will likely continue to shape the way we live, work, and interact with one another in the future.
Good morning, my name is Nutricia Rain R. Barrientos, and this is the part 2 of evaluation caused by the digital world. Just like Mr. Nanya discussed, the digital world has a significant impact on many aspects of society, but it also goes with business trends with the rise of digital technologies and online platforms transforming the way businesses operate and interact with customers. And here are some of the impacts of the digital world on business trends, starting with e-commerce. E-commerce, the rise of online shopping has led to the growth of e-commerce, where businesses can sell their products and services online. For example, for those are Shopee, Lazada, Food Panda, GrabFood, Zalora, or Shein, and this has opened up a new market and opportunities for businesses and has enabled them to reach for global audiences. And I think it actually boomed during the pandemic, since people can't really go out and do physical sellings or at least physically buy products. Business owners found a way to sell their own products and services. And digital marketing has become a critical component of business strategies, with business using social media, search engine organization, and other digital channels to reach customers and promote their products and services. A good example for this are YouTube sponsorship videos, or like videos that has YouTube sponsorship in them, or like company who has sponsorship to that video. Or in TikTok, they use those TikTok trends to promote their products or services. Those digital marketing actually works, especially if the said product is being promoted by your favorite influencer or the YouTuber that you actually like, and then it makes you think that, oh my god, I want that. Like, I feel like if she's having it and she's feeling good about it, then I want to feel good too, because it's something that your idol has, and you feel like you also wanted that product. So that is why digital marketing is really, really good. Data analytics. The digital world has enabled businesses to collect and analyze large amounts of data, providing insights into customer behavior, preferences, and trends. This data can be used to inform business decisions, marketing strategies, and optimize operations. It's actually much easier to know what your customers' preferences, or if they're allergic to that certain product that you have. So yeah, it's a really, really good way to know what it is in to the market, or what is the said trend, or what the customers would like. Remote work. The digital world has enabled remote work, with businesses using digital tools such as video conferencing, cloud computing, and collaboration software to facilitate remote work and enable employees to work from anywhere in the world. Again, this really applied to us during pandemic, whereas we can really be, have physical contact with each other or be anywhere near each other. So companies found a way to discuss what the company needs or what the market needs, and that is by video conferencing. And us students also does it by having online classes. Innovation and agility. The digital world has created new opportunities for businesses to innovate and adapt to changing customer needs and market trends. This applies also to data analytics and knowing what the market or your customer wants. So, digital technologies have enabled businesses to quickly develop and launch new products and services and respond into market changes in real time. So overall, reevaluating the digital world has a significant impact on business trends, transforming the way business operate and interact with customers and compete in the global marketplace. And it actually helps the small business owners to strive using digital platform to strive in the business industry. Thank you for listening to this topic. Let us now move on to the next topic. Thank you.
The growing need for customization and flexibility is to be discussed by Ms. De Los Santos and Mr. Naran.
There will continue to be a need for customization, flexibility, and lifelong learning at business school. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's webinar where we will be discussing the relevance of customization, flexibility, and lifelong learning in business schools. As the world continues to change at a rapid pace, so do the needs of businesses and their employees. The traditional one-size-fits-all approach to education is no longer sufficient. In this webinar, we will explore why customization, flexibility, and lifelong learning are important in business schools. Firstly, customization is vital in today's business world. With the advent of technology, businesses are becoming more specialized and their needs are changing rapidly. Therefore, education must also adapt to these changes. By customizing their education, business students can focus on the specific skills that they need to succeed in their chosen industry. This approach ensures that students are better prepared for the workforce and can contribute meaningfully to their organizations. Secondly, flexibility is crucial in business schools. Many students work full-time jobs while pursuing their education. Therefore, rigid schedules and inflexible programs can be a significant hindrance to their success. By offering flexible programs such as online classes and night classes, business schools can accommodate the needs of working students. This approach allows students to balance their work and education and can help them achieve their goals. Lastly, lifelong learning is essential in today's business world. The skills that business students learn today may not be sufficient in the future. As businesses continue to evolve, employees must continue to develop new skills and knowledge. By encouraging lifelong learning, business schools can prepare their students for the ever-changing needs of the workforce. This approach ensures that the students are equipped to adapt to new challenges and can thrive in their careers. In conclusion, customization, flexibility, and lifelong learning are essential in business schools. By customizing their education, offering flexible programs, and encouraging lifelong learning, business schools can prepare their students for the demands of their ever-changing business world. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope this webinar has been informative and helpful.
Growing need for customization and flexibility in business education. One of the growing trends in education is signaling an ever-increasing need for customization and flexibility in the education we offer. And new forms of learning like blending learning in which digital and physical offerings are tailored to the individual demand of the customer or student. The fact that the Netherlands is a knowledge country where innovation is essential engine for our economy requires education in the form of lifelong learning. One of the growing trends in education is signaling an ever-increasing need for customization and flexibility in the education they offer, and new forms of learning are emerging to meet this need, from online class to hybrid models that combine in-person and online learning. Students today have more options than ever before when it comes to choosing how they want to learn. According to the article claimed by Dr. Barbara Major, it is driven in part by the changing demands of the workplace, which increasingly values skills, adaptability, creativity, and problem solving. As they look to the future, it is clear that this trend toward customization and flexibility will only continue to grow. As educator, seek to provide the best possible education for each and every student. As a business school, its ultimate goal is to prepare students for the ever-changing landscape of the business world. They also understand that the demands of the business world are constantly shifting, and they are committed to staying ahead of the curve. This means that education must be a lifelong pursuit, not something that ends with a degree or a diploma. As a knowledge country, the Netherlands understands the importance of continuous education and innovation and is committed to providing its citizens with the tools they need to succeed in a rapidly changing world.
Now we are delighted to our next speaker on today's webinar, Ms. Pantila and Ms. Agravante, who will discuss about the importance of carbon footprint and business education.
Hello and welcome. I am your speaker, Trexia, and thank you for taking the time to join us today as we talk about the importance of carbon footprint. And let's start. So first things first, let's define carbon footprint. What is carbon footprint? Carbon footprint is the measure of the amount of carbon emitted into the atmosphere by human activities. Production of electricity and transportation are some of the major causes of carbon footprint. Carbon footprint left by human activities has a widespread effect on the environment and is a matter of grave concern. Before we get to the exciting part, the carbon footprint can be classified into two types, namely primary footprint and secondary footprint. The first one is primary footprint. The primary footprint is the direct activities done by human, which include driving of cars, burning of fuels, use of electricity. Heating is known as primary footprint. For example, when you drive a car, the greenhouse gases would be considered primary because you are the one burning the fossil fuels. The second one is secondary footprint. The secondary footprint is the indirect activities of human include manufacturing of clothing, shoes, food, and etc. The process of transportation of the manufactured good and disposal of the goods after use is known as secondary footprint. Why? For example, if you buy food that was imported from another country, those greenhouse gases would be secondary because even though you are not burning anything directly, that food had to travel more than 1,000 miles to get to your store. And here is the question: what is your carbon footprint? And what is my carbon footprint? So let's answer that question. Your carbon footprint or my carbon footprint is the amount of greenhouse gas you produce in units of carbon dioxide. This footprint is determined by your daily lifestyle and activities such as travel. You travel by car, you travel by plane or train, and etc. And electrical use, consumption of products and services, foods you eat, and etc. And now, let's get to the main topic, which is the importance of carbon footprint. Reducing greenhouse gas emission can improve air quality and save lives. Reducing global greenhouse gas emission to slow climate change could prevent millions of premature deaths due to air pollution over the next century. Because of increasing concern about global climate change and carbon emission as a causal factor, the companies and organizations are pursuing carbon footprint carbon footprint projects to estimate their own contribution to global climate change. Protocol definition from carbon registries help organizations analyze their footprints. The scope of these protocols varies but generally suggests estimating only direct emission and emissions from purchased energy, with less focus on supply chain emissions. In contrast, approaches based on comprehensive environmental lifestyle assessments of method are available to track total emission across the entire supply chain. And experience suggests that following narrowly defined estimation protocols will generally lead to large understatement of carbon emission for providing products and services. Direct emission from an industry are on average only 14% of the total supply chain carbon emissions, often called Tier 1 emission and direct emission plus industry energy inputs are on average only 26% of the total supply chain emission, often called Tier 1 and 2 emissions. Without a full knowledge of their footprints, firms will be unable to pursue the most cost-effective carbon mitigation strategies. We suggest that firms use the screening level analysis described are to set the bounds of their footprinting strategies to ensure that they do not ignore large sources of environmental effects across their supply chains. Such as information can help firms pursue carbon and environmental emission mitigation projects not only within their own plants but also across their supply chains. That would be all, and have a nice day.
A great day to everyone. I'm Brian Agrabante and I will be discussing the importance of carbon footprint. First is, we need to answer the questions. What is carbon footprints and why it is important? A carbon footprint is a total amount of greenhouse gases including carbon dioxide and methane produced by our actions. The average of carbon footprints of a person in the United States is 16 tons, which is the highest rate in the world. The carbon footprint is a crucial tool for determining how a person's actions affect global warming. Because of this, everybody who truly wants to combat global warming, and at least an individual level, must calculate and monitor their own carbon footprint. Carbon footprints is also measured the amount of carbon-based waste produced by an individual, both direct and indirect emissions compound like methane, nitrogen oxide, hydrofluorocarbon, sulfur, hexafluoroxide, etc. The measurement of pollutants also help us to develop sustainable programs. Knowing the usage of it will be able to prevent further destructions. And according to the objectives of ESSEC, they will be reducted any program-related carbon emissions by 25%, and instead of traveling to school every day, they will be integrated the blend of the face-to-face and online learning. Analysis of carbon footprints and production of greenhouse gases tabulates emission generates transportations of raw materials, products, or waste process emissions. The impact of carbon footprints in our business education is that we are forced to adapt our surroundings due to the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, which is why we need to pay attention to the intersection of business and the environment. And it is only through an integrated approach that we can make the most impact of tackling the climate change. And because of the carbon footprints, the transition of education is affected, and a result, they must redouble their efforts. Through education, we were able to educate our students on a new big challenge in the changing world.
Okay, thank you Miss Pantila and Miss Agrabante. Now let's proceed to our next speaker, Mr. Rodriguez and Mr. Itaas, who will explain about the hybrid educational experience.
Hybrid educational experience. The pandemic hiatus revealed the issues in conventional education system worldwide. A health crisis can halt all life activities including education. Continued lockdowns highlighted the need for a hybrid learning model where the flexibility of online classes and the importance of physical and interactive learning go hand in hand. Therefore, business education institutions are offering online MBA programs in addition to on-campus full-time degree full-time degree programs to facilitate remote learning. These online programs facilitate business skills development like leadership, business communication, and problem solving through networking and collaboration. According to Dean Delphine Manque, under the impetus of the health crisis, business schools have been able to experiment with many digital tools and approaches to remote teaching. Through this journey, they also realized how important face-to-face interaction with professors and between students are, how much campus life brings, and how fruitful serendipity can be. According to Vice Dean Laila Guerra, in 2022, business schools will acknowledge that the revolution experience in the sector is here to stay and will adapt business models accordingly. We'll see business campus experience that integrates the best blend of face-to-face and online offering. After all, this is reflection of their own realities.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez and Mr. Itaas. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our next webinar speaker who will discuss and explain about the impact of artificial intelligence in business education, Mr. Justin Mark Obispo.
Hi! Hello again, guys. So what we're going to talk about is the impact of artificial intelligence in business education. Artificial intelligence, or most commonly regarded as AI, is defined as the ability of a computer or a computer-controlled program, or we can also say a robot, that perform tasks most commonly associated with intelligent beings like us humans. So, according to the article of Timothy Mescon, titled as the impact of artificial intelligence in business education, is that the artificial intelligence and the emerging technologies are constantly changing and transforming the modern business. And those changes will only accumulate and accelerate over time, which leaves us with no choice but to adapt. And this also gives us the conclusion that technology literacy is an important, essential knowledge to attain success. Now, this puts educators at the forefront of industrial transformation, and it's not just in technological fields. Business educators too must motivate their learners to embrace the new technologies and have them understand the importance of how this will be applied in the future enterprises. Because AI systems can do a lot of things. They can sense, they can think, they can learn and take action in the shared workspaces. Now, this puts the educators at the forefront of industrial transformation, and it is not only about technological fields. Business educators too must motivate their learners to embrace the new technologies and have them understand the importance of how these things will be applied in the future enterprises, because AI systems can do a lot of things. They can sense, they can think, they can learn and take action in shared workspaces. It is today's business students who must understand and successfully collaborate with AI in their future professional roles. While artificial intelligence can undoubtedly make our lives easier, more comfortable, but over-reliance on machine learning models is a disadvantage of AI implementation, because any failure from that has the ability, has the potential of bringing the entire operating system to a full stop. Aside from that, there is also a risk of having an AI bias in making corporate decisions because these are all made from data and algorithms. Artificial intelligence can be used in schools to focus in higher education because education and training is the right answer to shape our future success with artificial intelligence. But even if we adopt the emerging technologies in business and education, it is still important to maintain cultivating human improvement and creativity no matter how our collective technology landscape evolves. Thank you.
Good morning. These are the last set of our webinar topic, which are the interdisciplinary education, business, school culture, and learning to couple profit with purpose. Let's now start with interdisciplinary education with Ms. Alanjas and Ms. Masa.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to have you all here for this webinar today. I'm thrilled to have the chance to speak to all of you about this important topic. I'd like to begin by taking a few moments to introduce myself and tell you a bit about what we're going to be discussing. My name is Masa Sheila May. Today we're going to be talking about interdisciplinary education at business school will be needed to create transformational leaders, which I'm sure some of you already have an idea. We'll explore the challenges, the opportunities, and the ways in which this subject can help us in any aspect. So please feel free and enjoy throughout the webinar. This is all about discussion and learning together. Let's get started. So some of you are wondering, what is interdisciplinary education? How is it important, especially at a business school? What is transformational leaders? Interdisciplinary education is a mode of curriculum design and/or instruction where individual, faculty, or teams identify, evaluate, and integrate information, data, techniques, tools, perspectives, concepts, and/or theories from two or more disciplines or bodies of knowledge. This is undertaken to advance students' capacity to understand issues, address problems, appraise explanation, and create new approaches and solutions that extend beyond the scope of a single discipline or area of instruction. Interdisciplinary in business is combining or involving two or more academic disciplines or field of study. The economics and history departments are offering an interdisciplinary seminar on Asia, combining or involving two or more professions, technologies, departments, or the like as in business or industry. Transformational leaders are individuals who create and implement creative strategies to effect positive and lasting change within their organization. They are visionaries and highly motivating leaders who strive to help people realize their full potential, identify their weaknesses, and use those insights to craft strategies and foster innovation and positive change. Transformational leaders in business are leaders who focus on long-term change and improvement for their organizations, often through influencing and motivating employees. These leaders motivate employees by focusing on long-term organizational goals rather than short-term ones. Transformational leaders use various tools to achieve this, such as focusing on developing relationships, utilizing coaching and mentoring techniques, promoting creative problem solving, and helping employees to discover and reach their fullest potential. Ultimately, transformational leaders strive to develop their team and into high-performing and self-sustaining units with their own ideas and initiative for success. Interdisciplinary education at business school is necessary to create the kind of leaders capable of transformative change. Business schools provide a range of knowledge and skills related to the operations and economics of businesses and organizations. By integrating various disciplines from business and related fields such as finance, accounting, economics, psychology, communication, law, and even engineering into business education, students gain a holistic perspective and a greater understanding of the big picture. In today's world of digital transformation, cross-industry knowledge is even more important for leaders who want to successfully take advantage of technology to remain competitive. Those who are educated in multiple disciplines are better equipped to grasp new and emerging technologies, interpret industry trends, and rapidly implement transformative strategies. It is often said that in today's ever-changing, rapidly advancing global business world, transformational leaders are in need. While traditionally these leaders would emerge from among existing, often hierarchical organizations, modern business needs require interdisciplinary education in order for people to become effective, innovative, and transformative leaders. This is why the education offered at business schools needs to be interdisciplinary in nature.
Thank you, Ms. Masa. And now, as we continue our discussion, let's focus on this section, wherein we're going to dive deeper into the importance of interdisciplinary education and business. Okay, as we continue, business education needs to equip individuals with a broad range of skills in order to produce true transformative leaders. Such skills need to go beyond business and encompass many fields, including history, philosophy, political science, and other disciplines. Okay, for example, the HKUST Business School has taken a proactive approach towards fostering sustainable and green finance initiatives. Their comprehensive curriculum focuses on topics such as business, finance, environment, science, and technology to provide a comprehensive approach to financial and economic education. They have placed particular emphasis on providing opportunities to explore renewable energy options and implementing measures for conservation. Through this approach, the business school hopes to cultivate responsible decision makers who can make informed choices with environment considerations at heart. Okay, so a business school curriculum that effectively incorporates interdisciplinary education can produce a truly exceptional and transformative leaders. Individuals who will be well equipped to tackle the global business challenges of the future. Such leaders need to think and act strategically, conceptually, and holistically with an awareness of all factors. Okay, next is the importance of interdisciplinary business in order to remain competitive in today's business world. It is essential to have an interdisciplinary approach in business. This means that businesses must be able to operate across multiple disciplines in order to find new opportunities and create values. Okay, so the importance of interdisciplinary education and developing transformational leaders. These leaders have the capacity to think outside the box and embrace creative solutions to complex problems. Interdisciplinary education provides the broad perspective and skill set to effectively analyze and synthesize different concepts and develop a holistic view of the problem. Business schools should make interdisciplinary education a top priority and strive to develop individuals who possess an integrative and multi-faced worldview. This is how businesses and organizations can foster truly transformational leaders and have the edge over their competitors. Okay, therefore, interdisciplinary education at business school should be a central priority. If we wish to develop transformative leaders who can confront the realities of the global market and contribute to creating a better and more successful business world. This kind of training is invaluable to a business leader since the real world has few cut and dry solutions. Leaders must consider a range of factors from human resources and marketing to operations and IT when formulating the most effective course of actions. By doing this, business school can create leaders who understand and appreciate the complexity of our current global business landscapes. For example, transformational leaders need to understand not just the quantitative measures such as profits and margins, but also the ethical considerations, social and environmental factors that often come into play. An interdisciplinary approach also helps future leaders identify emerging trends and analyze issues in their areas of business and social impact. And it is evident that interdisciplinary education plays an important role on producing the kind of business leaders world needs today. Okay, so lastly, transformational leaders know how to encourage, inspire, and motivate employees to perform in ways that create meaningful change. The results in an engaged workforce that empowered to innovate and help shape an organization's future success. Transformational leadership is a model that educators, deans, principals, professors, teachers can use to lead by example. It places a high value on creating community bonds, encouraging both students and educators to greater level of achievements. And that would be all. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for that, Ms. Alendez and Ms. Masa. Let's now move on to business school culture with Ms. Billones and Ms. Savares.
According to Professor Klaus Rapp, Vice President for Academic Affairs at Frankfurt School of Finance and Management, rankings continue to be a primary source of business school legitimacy with the weight of sustainability categories increasing each year, and individual schools win or lose consequently. This in turn has an impact on which school a student chooses to study at. Business school culture has something learned from experience. It is also an aspect of life as an students that bring us together. But how come business school culture has something to do with business? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Micaela Billones. Together with me is Juliana Nicole Savares, and we will discuss to you how business school culture affects or impacts the business industry. So first, what is business school culture? There are many ways in which the business school culture leave a trace in your personal life and your career. Just like a corporate culture, your study environment ultimately tests your adaptability and ambition that determines the direction you take as well as where you will thrive. A business school is a university-level institution that confers degrees in business administration or management. It teaches topics such as accounting, business analytics, strategy, economics, entrepreneurship, and many more. When applying to business school, one of the most reliable questions you will get from just any institution deals is how you will fit in within the school culture. It's fairly to see if you have an academic fit or professional fit at school by researching their curriculum and statistics for admitted students. It's far more difficult sometimes to ascertain the culture of a school. Still, learning matter how you fit the culture of a school that you consider for your studies is a process that requires a close look at your own personality on the one hand, and some insights into different business schools. A school culture will manifest itself both inside and outside of a core learning environment. Inside the classroom, culture is driven by the curriculum, so make sure you know how classes are conducted. Many schools give grades for classroom participation, but some do not. So make sure you sit in a class to observe the engagement of the students. Do you appreciate an environment of rigorous debate and challenge? Or do you prefer a quieter learning environment where the professor does most of the talking? Business school fit is feeling like you belong, knowing this is the program that is going to help you to reach your career goals. Although school cultures always feature a subjective element, there are some specific attributes which can be used to determine the environment nurtured at particular institutions. Needless to say, taking into account the format, the curriculum, the faculty, and the networking aspect while trying to determine the culture of the school can be overwhelming. So next, let us define what is business education is. Business education is a branch of education that involves teaching the skills and operation about business industry. It involves teaching the students about fundamentals, theories, and process of business. Education in this field has several levels. It includes secondary level, higher education, or university education. Business education involves the skills needed to run, manage, and grow a company. It provides students with any number of skills needed to success in business. So, what is the relevance of business education? When you study business education, you will gain an insight into different business areas such as accounting, finance, and marketing and product development. You will gain the ability to see how all these departments are connected to each other. Business education classes are largely tend to prepare students for real-life business situations and emphasize practical, utilitarian techniques and methods for conducting a business. Next, to answer the main question, how the business school culture affects the business, Ms. Avares will discuss it to you.
So the main question is how business school culture impacts the business education. First, what is culture? Culture is characterized by how a person speaks and acts. We encounter different cultures in every set of institutions like schools. There are values, norms, and beliefs that practices in school or university. If you are in a business school, there is a high chance that the school focuses on how to manage people, create a business, and how you will use your skills in your chosen career. They have rules and standards that guide students to carry out their talents in their job and businesses. But how does school culture affect the business? Let us identify the factors that business school culture affect the business. First, business school culture affect on how we think in business. We learned everything we gain in school, how to act, speak, and view every aspect of life. Like business school culture, if your business school culture has this standard that business will set as a foundation of the economy and how you must decide in every decision you make in your business, you will carry all norms that your school culture practice in your job or business. For example, Japanese school culture teaches students loyalty in every organization they belong to and value every relationship they will have. This practice maintain the Japanese as they work in their chosen fields. Japanese workers are devoted to the company they hired until their retirement. They are willing to work full-time every day to accomplish every task the company gives. In these ways, the employee demonstrates that he is loyal to the company. Due to the cultural practices learned in school, they bring it to the companies they belong to. It identifies the means for how the Japanese workers are. Second, business school culture affects on how they set value for their business. Business school culture practices the students how to follow the values that the school gives. These practices will also guide the entrepreneur on what values he will provide in his business. For example, back in university, professors encourage students to become accountable for the responsibilities they have as a student. Professors guide and remind students that being liable for one's action will enable us to carry out our duties. The rules train the entrepreneurs, employees, and businesses that accountability is the core of how the industry works. There is an example that value will bore every place a person goes. Third, business school culture affects how the business work. The school will introduce us how institutions work, how it starts, what strategies it takes to succeed, and what the real world looks like. The school prepares us for possibilities that we may encounter in creating or belonging to business industries. The preparation helps the firms on how to start, how to move, and how it's supposed to end. This will be a principle to business owners on how a company must work, and what will be steps, decisions, and environment they must create to flourish in the industry. And before we end our discussion, let us remind everyone that business school culture has an impact in business education, because everything that we learned in school will leave a trace in our career and personal life. It simply shows that your business school culture is going to be part of you forever. Your business school peers will likely make a big part of your network than most other groups. You will be associating with them regularly for 1 to 5 years, depending on which program you enroll in. After graduating, you will attend events hosted by the alumni group. This relationship will be a part of you both now and forever. That's all for our presentation. Thank you.
And that concludes our webinar. We all thank you for attending and staying until the end of our session entitled Trend That Impacts the Business Education. We all hope that you gain, absorb, and make use of the knowledge we all have shared. That's all. Thank you. God bless.